Shanghai as a city has always grooved to the beat of their own drum. Before the Cultural Revolution, which wiped out pretty much everything traditional about the Chinese culture, Shanghai was a heaving, cosmopolitan metropolis steeped in modern undertones ahead of its time. Therefore, it isn't surprising this city started an airline during a time when CAAC was the only mandated flag carrier of this gigantic country, of the People's Republic of China. This is the story of Shanghai航空, China's first commercial airline formed outside the purview of the central ruling government, and they went ahead to break the mold of what airline operations could be.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
And good day guys, welcome back to my video, and I'm coming to you from Shanghai Hongqiao International Airport. So this is an inner city airport right here in Shanghai because it's located very close to the city center, and we're flying to another city airport. That's right, we're heading to Seoul Gimpo International Airport, and we're flying with Shanghai Airlines. So come along with me to see what this experience is gonna be like. Let's do this. If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. Born and bred in Singapore, I now call Australia home, and I create heaps of travel content. So, the tribe has officially spoken. What you want is what you'd get. Therefore, the main focus of this travel series will be on airlines and their alliances. In fact, I cover all three of them: Star Alliance, One World, and SkyTeam. These sectors will be spread out amongst 3 classes, 8 airlines, 10 flights, spread out over 10 days covering 4 countries and 1 territory. For those who still like to watch me eat, I do a bit of that in Singapore and Hong Kong. These videos will be linked in the description below in chronological order, as and when they're published. If you'd like to make a direct impact into the growth of my channel, give me a like and share this video with a friend. Even better, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you won't miss what's coming up. So here's a heartfelt thanks from down under. In order to understand Shanghai Airlines, we must first understand Shanghai. The city is probably China's first city of global prominence, and it was such since the 19th century due to its heaving foreign trade, all thanks to the city's favorable port location. This focus on international trade resulted in the city's extremely cosmopolitan feel, which is showcased in some of the world's most concentrated number of neoclassical architectural facades in Asia. So unique is Shanghai, they even have their own language. Nonghova, Nongjakbolava. When the Communist Party came to power in 1949 and wiped out China's diverse culture, it became this monolithic existence we see today. Shanghai was forced to conform into this new form of being. For decades after, there was only one airline in China, CAAC Airlines. CAAC stands for Civil Aviation Administration of China, which is a government aviation regulatory body, which also functioned as an airline. As China's domestic aviation scene was largely underdeveloped for many decades, the powers that be in Shanghai saw an opportunity to do something different. The Shanghai City Municipal Government, together with several local prominent business enterprises, came together to form Shanghai Airlines in December 1985 to operate flights out of Hongqiao Airport. Therefore, in a top-down communist society, Shanghai had started China's first commercial airline of multidimensional investment, funded by parties outside of Beijing. Underlining the city's desire to be different, a burst of color from amongst the grey existence of Communist China. All of a sudden, the People's Republic of China had two airlines. Shanghai Airlines was restricted in its early days to fly only domestic routes. Just as well, because CAAC Airlines and the 6 airlines which came after that were mainly focused on international expansion anyways. After CAAC was split up in 1988, Shanghai Hongqiao Airport also became the base of the CAAC offshoot China Eastern Airlines. At the time of writing, Shanghai Airlines flies from Hongqiao to 42 destinations, 5 of them international. And one of these international airports is Seoul Gimpo in South Korea. All business class passengers are directed to a dedicated area of the airport to complete check-in formalities.
And we are done with the security check. Little wins that we take. I did not get a secondary screening again because I basically emptied my entire laptop bag of my camera gear, wires, cables, and charging banks and everything. So I took everything out for them to go through. Because normally at Chinese airports, I always get stopped because of the amount of gear that I travel with. And it's always not enough for them. They'll always have to rescreen my bag. So today, right here at Shanghai Shanghai Hongqiao, I finally don't have to do the secondary screening again. Yes, little wins. Anyway, now we look for the lounge, I think, to spend a couple of hours before the flight. Yeah.
I'm presently walking through Terminal 1, which is where it all started for Hongqiao Airport. The basic infrastructure is dated from the late 50s and opened for operations in 1964, which explains this setup, which seems out of place in the modernity of China's shiny and glassy mega airports around the country. A major refurbishment project completed in 2018 brought the terminal up to date cosmetically, and it is today a textbook example of combining the new and old successfully. Both Shanghai Airlines and China Eastern jointly operate a lounge here at Hongqiao. As it is the base for both airlines, the lounge is nicely appointed with a very relaxing atmosphere, feeling more like a posh hotel lobby than an airline lounge. A home-based lounge for 2 large airlines normally means a dedicated dining area. You know me and my rather healthy relationship with food. I've heard nothing but great things about China Eastern's noodle bar at the lounge. It's basically boiled noodles, and you make your own afterwards depending on condiments available for the day. If you cannot decide like me, just dump all the condiments into your bowl and you can have the taste of Shanghai in an instant. It was heavenly. However, outside of the noodle station, I did find the rest of the catering options very random, slightly bland, and below average. Overall though, I do like this lounge, and on this trip to China, it's definitely one of the better ones I've been to. For those who are running on New York time, there is a bar where they create cocktails. I was invited to try, but I'm not that much of a drinker, so I politely declined. By the time 1997 came about, the 6 airlines which came from the CAAC umbrella had firmly established themselves internationally. As a result of that, restrictions on Shanghai Airlines flying outside of China were removed. As part of their organizational development, the airline was listed on the Shanghai Stock Exchange in 2002 and was soon roped into Star Alliance together with Air China in December 2007. Their relationship with the world's largest airline alliance did not last though, because in June 2009, it was announced that Shanghai Airlines would merge with China Eastern to reduce excess competition between the two airlines based in Shanghai and to allow the new entity to compete more effectively with the domestic rivals of Air China and China Southern. This move was also aimed at consolidating Shanghai's status as an international aviation hub at China's financial capital. As a result of this merger, Shanghai Airlines terminated their membership with Star Alliance and is now part of SkyTeam Alliance together with China Eastern as of November 2010. Shanghai Airlines international flights from both airports of Hongqiao and Pudong focuses on destinations in Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, Singapore and Thailand. Long-haul flights reach as far as Europe and Australia. Today, we are boarding flight FM 823, which is operated by their only wide-body type in their fleet, a Boeing 787-9, registered Bravo 220 Kilo, delivered to the airline in December 2024, making her just under 6 months old when I took this flight. I've come to the conclusion, since my first experience with Chinese airlines in 2024, that their service levels are astronomical. Even more so with this airline, because the welcome was immediate, and the flight attendant was insistent on helping me with my luggage. The personal ushering brought me past the first row of this business class cabin, which has 4 first-class seats. This is sold with an extra fare top-up as a business plus arrangement for a larger seat with more space. From the second row onwards, we have the normal business class seats encased in a Thomson Vantage shell using a 1-to-1 staggered layout. I'm normally not in the favor of flight attendants helping me with luggage storage because they risk hurting their back. I had to once again decline their help. I explained she needed to watch out for her lower back and we shared a little laugh. She then introduced herself as the flight attendant in charge of serving me today and not to hesitate to ask for assistance if needed. Since this was a full flight, she then disappeared to assist other passengers filing into their respective seats. This is one of the better looking Thomson Vantage cabins I've seen. They've somehow managed to make beige on beige not bland, and it does have a very pleasing effect on your eyes. But I think this must be a bitch to keep clean. The wheel wells are a little narrow, which is normal for such seats. Let's not forget, you're in business class on a full-service airline within Asia, so hot towels are a must. Your seat, being enclosed in a shell, comes equipped with this relaxing-looking lamp. There's also a door, which will be unlocked once we're up in the air. As for amenities, there is a large fluffy pillow and a blanket for your perusal. Thumbs down for this cheapo-looking headset though. It's definitely not fitting for a business class product. The friendly hosties come around to give us a choice of water or OJ for your welcome drink. And what's a Chinese airline without these slippers? Not that I'll ever use it, but it comes in this beautiful bag which you're welcome to take home with you. This isn't my first rodeo with the Thomson Vantage shells. I've done them with Malaysia Airlines, Philippine Airlines, LATAM, and Qantas. Most of them have my eyes peering over the top. However, this model Shanghai Airlines had chosen has the most privacy due to the tall walls. This is definitely a huge plus.
迫降时，请采用这种防冲击姿势，直到飞机完全停稳。 口均标有明显的出口标志，请在起飞前确认这些出口的位置。发生紧急情况时，听从机组指令，沿撤离路径快速撤离飞机。撤离前取下身上的尖锐物品，撤离时不要携带行李。采用这样的姿势撤离飞机。精彩之旅才刚刚开始，更多安全信息请阅读安全须知卡。如有其他问题，请与机组人员联系。感谢您搭乘上海航空班机。
On takeoff from Hongqiao, flight FM 823 would turn left and make a wide loop around Shanghai, heading out over the East China Sea. A northerly trek would then take us over Jeju Island, making landfall over the Korean Peninsula south of Gwangju. From there, it would be a continuous trek and a straight-in approach passing the city of Seoul and landing at Gimpo Airport, completing this flight in just under 2 hours, clocking a distance of 864 kilometers. Ah yes, here we are with the perennial problem when flying Dreamliners. The windows became permanently locked on this flight, so there was no way to enjoy the beautiful sunset. Someone once told me there was a hack to unlock the windows by pressing the button down for a minute. And this action would override the lock function. Nah, it did not work. Flight attendants then went to each individual pod to unlock the doors, so we now could build our own little fort and play pretend we were hiding from monsters. But there would be none of that, as the first signs of the meal service began with white linens getting laid out on our tables. Another crew member followed close behind with hot towels as they speedily set things up for this very short flight. When we were on the ground before pushback, our dinner orders were taken during the personal welcome by the cabin crew. Besides getting our dinner options sorted, we were also asked how we would like to be addressed for the duration of this flight. I tried getting them to call me Ryan, but their ingrained service culture found it awkward. So they ended up calling me Mr. Ryan, or Ryan 先生. Options were beef with potatoes, chicken noodles, or braised duck with rice. Far out, I've never had duck for the main dish on a plane before. And here we are with this beautiful dish glistening away, swimming in a flavorful looking sauce. It came accompanied by a starter of marinated sesame chicken with 2 types of mushrooms, fresh fruits, and that bun in a plastic wrap which was just tacky. The rice was perfectly cooked, fluffy, and nicely fragrant. But of course, the main star had to be the braised duck. My oh my, the punchy flavor of 5 spice and the complex layers of several other prominent taste profiles all came together to marry this amazing dish. Wish I had a menu to see what this was. But I would fly Shanghai Airlines again without hesitation just to have this dish. It's been a rather intense couple of hours with non-stop food getting stuffed into my mouth. After the tray was cleared, I was served a glass of warm green tea before I set the seat into a slight recline to while away the remaining hour on board this amazing flight. In case you're curious, the IFE on board Shanghai Airlines, which I think is similar to China Eastern, is somewhat decent, as long as you're not expecting the level of Qatar Airways or Singapore Airlines. As a Chinese airline, of course they are catered for the Chinese speakers, so you'd have no issue with that selection. But Western options are understandably limited. In cases like these, just BYO and you'll be fine. As far as corporate organizational structure is concerned, Shanghai Airlines and China Eastern are seen as one entity since the merger in 2009. But a decision was made to keep these brands separate because Shanghai Airlines had a far better service reputation, and China Eastern was hoping to ride on this to elevate their brand. So this practice of operating separate airlines have remained till today. But there are signs of the China Eastern branding seeping into this flight everywhere you looked. Like the headphones, slippers, and IFE all had China Eastern branding. For someone like me who used to handle branding identities in my previous life in the corporate world, this really did my head in. But for China, having one parent company radiating into 1,000 sub-brands is common practice. Perhaps it's just me having to learn the Chinese way of doing things. I can understand why China Eastern felt the need to learn from Shanghai Airlines how to execute in-flight service. This team was absolutely flawless from start to finish. As someone who is conversational in spoken Mandarin, I had no issues communicating with them, and they warmed up to me almost immediately. From my name in the passenger manifest, it is obvious I'm not from China, and yet it made me an object of curiosity amongst the crew why I could speak the language. Sometimes the Chinese themselves do forget that overseas Chinese do exist. Majority of the passengers in my vicinity were Koreans who spoke no Mandarin, and the crew spoke no Korean. But they did not give up. They tried communicating in English and sign language to get their points across. Except during meal service, every interaction with them, they were on their knees speaking with me. Very heartwarming. Is this the perfect airline? Of course it isn't. There are aspects of this airline which could do with a little polish. The lounge catering, for instance, it was very lacking. And removing the dinner roll from the plastic wrapping would have made the meal tray that little bit more presentable. But that's just me being nitpicky. Because these little flaws are easily solved, and I keep circling back to the fantastic service on board. It is genuine, well-intentioned, and here we are arriving into a very chilly Seoul in South Korea. And before I disembarked, the cabin crew even reminded me to put on more clothes because of the weather, in one final show of excellent customer service.
谢谢啦，拜拜。拜拜。穿一下，冷了。好，谢谢。
As we come to the conclusion of this fantastic flight with Shanghai Airlines on flight FM 823, it's time to say 안녕하세요, 김포공항 환영합니다, and let's join live Ryan freezing his butt off in this chilly South Korean capital city of Seoul.
So guys, that was my flight on Shanghai Airlines from Shanghai Hongqiao to Seoul Gimpo International Airport. So do you agree with my comments about Chinese airlines and Shanghai Airlines in particular? Let me know in the comment section below because I'm pretty eager to hear from you. So in the meantime, I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now, so hit me up there, chuck me a follow so you can come along with me on my travels in real time. Hit subscribe and the bell icon so you won't miss what's coming up next on this travel series. So in the meantime, take care all of you, and I'll see you for the next episode of this travel series. Bye!